Are pilotless airplanes actually coming to fruition? And whatever happened to the guy who busted the Las Vegas Bravo?
And 1 November Romeo, I need you outside of the Bravo.
Negative.
Those topics and more on Taking Off. Welcome to Taking Off. I'm Christy Wong. We're going to get to the Bravo Buster in just a moment, but before we get to that, we're going to talk about these pilotless planes. This week, flight technology company X-Wing announced its plans to launch autonomous commercial operations in the next couple of years. How do they make pilotless aircraft possible? X-Wing, which is based in San Francisco, has been developing its auto flight system for the past 4 years. This system uses detect and avoid sensors to analyze ground and air-based hazards. It interfaces with air traffic control, monitors the status of aircraft systems, and generates optimal flight paths for the aircraft. The company has also been working with NASA to test the use of autonomous aircraft in the National Airspace System. On August 20th, X-Wing unveiled their autonomous Cessna Grand Caravan, which has undergone thousands of simulation runs, software systems tests, and flight trials that included ground taxi tests, takeoffs, navigation within the airspace, and even landings. The company is touting more than 40 hours of automated flight time. As if pilot jobs weren't hard enough to come by these days, now we're competing with the robots. In other news, Hurricane Laura reached Category 4 status, sustaining wind speeds of 150 miles per hour. The National Hurricane Center warned residents along the Texas-Louisiana coast that the storm would bring unsurvivable storm surge with large and destructive waves as it reached landfall. More than 670,000 residents were left without power by Thursday early morning. Fortunately, by Thursday afternoon, Laura had already weakened to a tropical storm with winds sustaining just 70 miles per hour. In her wake, we've learned she left a path of destruction, including at Lake Charles Regional Airport. If you'd like to help, organizations such as Operation Airdrop are putting together relief efforts. You can visit their website, link in the description below. We wish everyone in Laura's path a safe and speedy recovery. Okay, let's talk about the most disliked 210 owner in recent history. To recap, November 731 November Romeo, a Cessna Centurion, busted the Las Vegas Bravo airspace on June 20th of this year. For our non-pilot friends out there, Bravo airspace is the airspace surrounding a very busy airport. You see these airspaces around airports like LAX, DFW, Las Vegas, etc. As you can imagine, it gets pretty busy in these airspaces with a lot of air traffic, and there are certain spacing requirements the controllers must adhere to. A pilot must have specific permission from approach control to enter this airspace. Not only did 1 November Romeo not receive clearance to enter the Bravo, he was specifically asked to depart the airspace, and he refused. Another air traffic controller in California asked for the official records under the Freedom of Information Act. Included in the release is the ATC recording in its entirety. 731 November Romeo checks in with Las Vegas approach, descending through 9,800. The controller acknowledges the plane and gives the altimeter setting along with the ATIS information. She advises the pilot that they are landing runway 35 at his destination airport, Henderson Executive. The pilot concurs. The exchange is pleasant and not out of the norm. The controller goes on directing other aircraft. It's not until several minutes later during an exchange with another controller, as she is discussing where the airplanes in her sector are going, she states she did not clear 1 November Romeo through the Bravo, and it looks like he's about to violate the airspace.
1 November Romeo.
Yeah, I did not clear him through. It looks like he's about to just violate the airspace.
She states she's going to redirect another aircraft, gives the controller the ride report, speaks to a couple of other aircraft, then advises 1 November Romeo to remain clear of the Bravo. That's when things start to go downhill.
And 1 November Romeo, I need you outside of the Bravo.
Negative.
Negative what?
I'm inside.
You were not given a clearance through the Bravo. 1 November Romeo, exit the Bravo immediately.
I've been talking to you the whole time. That's the whole point of talking to you.
You have to have a Bravo clearance. You have to request a Bravo clearance.
The Bravo clearance about 50 miles ago.
Nobody clears you through the Bravo but me.
Then clear me through.
No.
Yes.
Hearing the exchange with 1 November Romeo demanding a Bravo clearance, another pilot jumps to the controller's defense, promptly calling 1 November Romeo well, I'll let you fill in the blank. 1 November Romeo is audibly perturbed by this language and makes his opinion so. The controller then gives a traffic alert to an incoming Southwest 737 regarding the wayward Centurion.
Southwest 779 traffic, 12 o'clock, 4 miles. Is a Cessna Centurion descending out of 4,700 inside the Bravo without a clearance.
Okay, we're looking Southwest 779.
I've asked for a clearance multiple times.
Upon hearing this, 1 November Romeo quips back saying he's asked for clearance multiple times, to which the controller responds,
1 November Romeo, I told you to remain outside the Bravo.
She then notifies 1 November Romeo of a possible pilot deviation and asks him to advise when he's ready to copy a number.
1 November Romeo, possible pilot deviation, advise you contact Las Vegas approach at, I'll give you the number when you're ready to copy.
Not ready to copy. I'm flying.
Several more minutes pass as the Centurion continues to pass through the airspace toward his destination. The last contact between the approach controller and the pilot of 1 November Romeo is her passing him off to Henderson Tower. The remainder of her transmissions with other aircraft are overall pleasant and professional. The second recording available in this Freedom of Information Act release is the phone call between the pilot of 731 November Romeo and the supervisor's desk at Las Vegas Approach Control. The pilot, Mr. Jeff Walkner, calls in and explains that he was getting bumped around and had a 6-year-old scream about having to go to the bathroom and throwing up for the past hour. He also states that unable was probably the wrong thing to say, and he apologizes. The supervisor explains that once you go into Bravo airspace without clearance, they have to violate it. He asks Mr. Walkner to tell him what's going on.
What was going on there?
So I departed from Denver Centennial,
APA, right?
APA, and got flight following as soon as I could, and was up at 16.5, getting bounced around.
He began his descent into Las Vegas, was switched over to approach, and thinks he has Bravo clearance. He was concerned about terrain, and instead of saying he needed directions, the best he could come up with at the time was unable. He says that he was flustered and he was sorry for how he responded. He reiterates that he'll do better in the future. The supervisor is professional and compassionate in his response, and the call ends on an overall positive note.
I'm going to try to do better next time.
That's okay.
Hopefully there's not going to be a next time.
No, let's hope not.
We reached out to a few Las Vegas approach controllers to get some information about the airspace and to find out what exactly went wrong. In his explanation, the pilot stated that he couldn't go further east due to mountainous terrain, but according to our sources, the general rule of thumb is to stay under the Bravo or stay a little further east. There are several options for navigating through that airspace. Multiple aircraft go through that area without touching the Bravo every day. We don't know the full picture, but 1 November Romeo was hard-pressed to continue on, with or without having the appropriate clearance. Personally, as a pilot and a parent, I would have landed an hour earlier to take care of my child. We know to take care of our passengers in situations like that. Also, being from the Las Vegas area myself, I know firsthand that the mountains on the east side aren't that tall, and there are several passes for getting through. Based on the information we have, the pilot was reprimanded by the FSDO. He probably won't have his certificates revoked, but I'm sure he had several learning lessons come out of that visit. So, what learning lessons can we as viewers take away? In speaking with air traffic controllers around the country, what I've learned is most want to educate rather than berate pilots for minor deviations. It's all about the attitude the pilot presents when faced with a potential deviation. Air traffic controllers direct traffic with safety in mind. Their job is to get everyone to their destination safely, so all they ask is that you help them help you by following the instructions given. We'd like to know what you think. Do you think the air traffic controller was right to deny him Bravo clearance? Do you feel that the pilot was giving excuses regarding the situation? What would you have done given these circumstances? Comment below with your thoughts. Finally, let's discuss the current situation regarding furloughs. To be honest, it looks pretty bleak. Tens of thousands of airline workers are facing furloughs beginning October 1st. The downstream effects of these furloughs will further inhibit our already fragile economy. Congress passing the CARES 2.0 Act will mitigate those furloughs, but as of now, they have not come to an agreement on the terms and have taken recess until after Labor Day. If you're one of the many pilots facing furlough, reach out to your airline or union for furlough assistance. Most airlines offer this type of support for personnel. I want to reiterate, it's not just pilots facing this. Flight attendants, ramp agents, maintenance personnel, the list goes on. My thoughts are with all of you during this difficult time. For those of you wondering, I did receive the official furlough notice from my airline. It wasn't a surprise at all, so I was prepared for the news. What did surprise me was the personal phone call I received from the Vice President of Flight Operations. He delivered the news directly to the pilots facing furlough and expressed his heartfelt condolences. He explained next steps and took the time to answer questions. To me, that speaks volumes. It's not easy to have to make these kinds of decisions, let alone deliver the news personally to those affected. I look forward to the day air traffic picks back up and I'm able to resume my duties as first officer with my airline. Until then, you can find me on Taking Off doing videos like this, as well as our in-flight videos and episodes of In the Hangar. If you'd like to support me along the way, you can visit my Patreon. You can also check out our channel's Hangar Club. Links are in the description below. Thank you to those who already support us and allow us to make aviation content for the masses. Please like, subscribe, and share our videos, and we'll see you next time on Taking Off.